What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Here we are sitting at about $473 right now. Looking good. Had a very nice week last week. It wasn't anything crazy, but 7% to the upside. We'll take it. We'll take it. Something to celebrate is the fact that we did bounce off the weekly RSI on the 50, or the weekly RSI bounced off the 50 here, right? Bouncing off the 50 normally is a good thing. At times we bounced off it time and time again and moved up slowly, but in this phase right now, again, this phase here where we bounced off it, it didn't really amount to anything. This was kind of in the beginning of this downward move, right? We're here, we've already broken out of our downward move, we're maturing out of it, looking to go higher. It's a totally different phase, so I suspect that this bounce could lead to bigger and better things. I do suspect it does. The next targets to focus on from a high to a low perspective, I think, would be anything from $936 to $1,300, right? I definitely suspect we're going to go higher than that, but let's just focus on that. This is our primary target zone after all. I have been talking about the $1,700 to $1,900 zone for a long time, but let's be fair. It's not fair to talk about that until we're above $1,300. So let's just focus on that for now. 886 down to the 382. We've seen that happen a couple times throughout the board with crypto. I'm trying to think. I think Litecoin just did that, or maybe there was another coin I talked about tonight that did that. Literally, I just talked about it, this exact move. But if and when you get above the 618 again, up above $500, and I think that you will, you're at 473 now. When you get above $500, that will green light you for these extended areas at $936 to $1,300, which I do suspect you will achieve by the end of February. Okay, and from the current target range, again, outside of our normal stuff, let's just go off of like a base level here. I'm expecting the average coin to pump 90% to 200% from their current prices, and probably just under 200% actually. So that right there, that's about an average move. That's a little bit around that average move as well, and that's on the upper ends of average. So all of these expectations are completely suitable, completely acceptable for what we would expect out of Bitcoin Cash, out of any average crypto. And I want to just say something too, right? If we look at this goes back to answering a question I think that somebody had a long time ago. From a low to a high here, we look at this, come on now, low to high, 263, okay? Low to high here, 338. I was talking about 1,300 or more being the minimum target. If we look at the low here to the high, that is a 374% move. That's a bigger move than 338%, bigger move than 263. And I was talking about higher targets than that. And I forget who it was, but somebody was asking, how can we expect to see higher targets on this next move when comparing it to these moves? That's like what we've seen. This is 500. And when I was talking about $1,700, which putting it up here is about 500%, where the highest move before was 338%. You can't see it because of the fibs, but 338% there. How can I talk about 1,700? I didn't know it at the time, but I kept true to my targets even with that question, because it's a good question, right? But the sense that I made out of it was the fact, and I'm going to get back to this question in a second. The sense I made out of it was the fact that we'll break out of this zone here, this overall large accumulation zone. We've got the monthly ribbons crossing, right? There are bullish reasons beyond what I'm about to say that would suggest that we see a bigger move now than we did last time. But here's another suggestion, right? Last time, those two moves that we had were big and fast. This time the move is clearly more controlled. It's different than these other two moves. It is different. It's slower. It's more controlled. And with slower moves, you can tend to see overall more growth. It just takes more time, but you get more growth. So I didn't know it at the time when I was calling for it here, that this move, after we find our low, our next high would be a larger move than the other two moves. I didn't know it at the time, but it makes sense that it would actually probably be a more controlled, a more kind of I don't know, is pathological the right move? A more meticulous kind of driven move. But at the end of the day, if I say move again, you better take a drink of something. $474 is where we're at now. Next target area that we should focus on before we talk about anything higher is $936 to $1,300. Let's just be fair. That's the primary target zone. Until we get there, that's where our eyes are. Eyes on the prize, Dragon Riders. If we look at this high to low here, 2272 comes in right between the 1414 and the 1618. That's Rafiki. Say hi to Rafiki's ass or bye to it. And I will see you guys on the next one. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's look at the ribbon real quick. I do this every single time, man. I'm like, we're going to go bye-bye. And then not. Already up 9% this month. That ribbon is crossing this month, guys. It's happening. We're getting the bullish cross. That's a nice weekly looking ribbon. Beautiful daily, 3-day looking ribbon. And the daily looking like we're getting a false cross, which is actually a pretty bullish signal in itself too. So Just keep closing above the yellow line. We're fine. The 4 hour crossed bullish, bounced off it, boom. We're looking good. So I would expect or suspect Bitcoin Cash is moving up probably this week to targets that are going to be anywhere from like, I don't know, something above 500. We're at 474 now. Maybe we move up to around $600 by the end of this week. We'll see. But it starts now, man. This is going to be, I think this move here, what's coming out of it, I think this next move up is going to be more robust. Maybe similar in size, but faster. And then we consolidate and we move up a little bit more, and then maybe we top out. I don't know. Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.